Hey guys, it's me again. I'm back in my car creating another video because this is the place for inspiration. Anyhow, I wanted to make a video all about the benefits of breastfeeding versus formula. And before I go into that, I just want to talk about my story. After I had my first little girl, I knew for sure breast milk for me was the only option. Like, there was no other option. Me being Miss Natural and into like holistic and organic and clean and pure, I knew that there was just no way I was going to give my baby formula. Like, that this was the only option. There was no other option in my mind other than breast milk. And I got mastitis 2 times, which is a terrible breast infection. I got high fever. I was so sick. I had like cracked nipples. It was really painful and really sore, but never for a moment in my mind did I consider giving up. And I say this because I know that it can be really challenging sometimes and really hard first time around when you're trying to breastfeed a baby and like trying to get them to latch on right, and the cracked nipples and not sure if they're getting enough food and all these things. But you know, once you learn the importance of breastfeeding and the benefit for the baby, it will make you want to do it. Like, to act as though that is the only option for our children. And today we live in a time where children, this is the new statistic, that actually the parents will outlive the children because children are sicker than ever. And it's really sad. It makes me so sad that children are suffering. It doesn't need to be that way. So this is why I wanted to create this video about breastfeeding, because I think a lot of people today are just choosing to give their children, their babies, formula, and it's really unfortunate. And I think that if doctors were educating people more about the benefit of breastfeeding and how important it is, and to give it all you've got, and to have a support around, you know, breastfeeding, then more people would be breastfeeding. Now, breastfeeding is really amazing and powerful for the baby's immune system. It's giving them all of the hormones and all the exact nutrients that their body needs to grow properly. And it's just incredible for their immunity. It's incredible. It prevents ear infections, colds and flus, long-term health problems. Like, the list goes on and on. There's so many health benefits to breastfeeding the baby for the first 1 to 2 years. I've always breastfed for the first 2 years because I feel that they need milk for the first 2 years. So in my eyes, why not give them the best milk ever? And people kind of sometimes think that's weird for me to still be breastfeeding my baby when she's over a year. But the truth is I don't really care. Like, I just want to give my little one the best nutrition she could possibly have. And in my mind, breast is best, right? Like, breast milk is exactly designed perfectly for a growing baby to be healthy and strong. So that's my thing about breastfeeding. Now, the reason why not to give formula, and if you're already giving formula, that's fine. Like, there's other alternatives, and I'll tell you about those. So the reason that formula is not the best option is because, first of all, GMOs, everything, 80% of our food supply is genetically modified, and GMOs eat away at the lining of the intestinal tract. And I'll do another video about GMOs, but for now we'll talk about this. So yeah, GMOs are definitely not good for a newborn baby, and a lot of the formula today have GMO products in them. And even if they're organic, say you're getting organic dairy. So dairy, a cow produces enough hormones to make a baby calf into a 1,200-pound cow. So think about that for a second. You're giving your baby cow's milk. Cow's milk has so many more hormones than our newborn babies are meant to have. Like, cow's milk is the perfect milk for a baby calf. That's it, not for a human being, not a baby. So it's definitely, cow's milk is not a good alternative. And then we have corn and soy products, which most of that is GMO, and there's problems with soy because that creates estrogens, which also increases our risk of cancer. And when you're giving it to newborn babies as their only source of food, you can imagine the havoc it's having on their bodies. And yeah, you know, this might all sound very scary, and I'm not here to scare you, but in some ways I guess I am, because the truth is it's just a matter of, you know, being educated and being informed, and how we can prevent and make sure that our children have good health and a good, strong immune system and protection against disease. And that is why breastfeeding is so important. So only 2% of women, by the way, cannot breastfeed. So if you're one of those 2% that just cannot breastfeed no matter what, so there's other options. There's a great option is camel's milk. And yes, it's not easy to find camel's milk everywhere, but there's something called Desert Farms brand, and that's a really good source. You can go online and you can order it online, and yeah, it's a little bit more pricey. And there's other things. Robert Price Foundation, I believe it is, has a formula that you can create from home, which is a much healthier option than your typical formula that you find at the market. So there's a couple options, there for alternative to your typical formulas that you find at the stores. And the other thing I was going to say is camel's milk is also a really great, I think I just said that, camel's milk. That's the Desert Farms brand. Camel's milk is a great alternative. It's very nutritionally similar to our breast milk. And the other thing I wanted to mention, because we talked about breast milk and why it's so beneficial and how great it is for the baby. We've talked about the alternatives if you cannot breastfeed, but then there's the other side of it, because 98% of women can breastfeed and do produce breast milk. So there are herbs and so many supplements and vitamins and minerals and superfoods that you can incorporate into your diet that will help to produce breast milk. Sometimes women think they're not producing enough breast milk because the baby might not be latched on properly, so they're not getting enough milk because they're not latched, so they're not drinking it, or they're not feeding long enough, or they're not feeding in enough amount of times in the day. So I'm going to tell you like a quick little list that I wrote down of some of the alternative things that you can take to help produce more breast milk. So there's oatmeal, I'm sure you've heard of that, carrots, fennel seeds, basil leaves, fenugreek seeds, spinach, and beets. Those are some of the foods that are really helpful in producing more breast milk. And then the herbs are blessed thistle, fennel, stinging nettle, alfalfa, goat's rue, milk thistle, and turmeric ginger are amazing, as well as anise. And those are all really great. Like, we can increase the breast milk supply for sure. It's just a matter of, learning about how we can do that. And with this information, hopefully you will go out there and do what you got to do, educate people, educate yourself. And I hope you got a lot from this. And please feel free to comment, like I said, and like my video if you really like it. And I'll hope to talk to you soon. You'll be hearing from me.